What's up, guys? I'm back. You're back. We're all back. I actually need to focus and get some things done and get these card reads and energy reads done. I am going to be on here for about 2 hours, and then I have to take my kid to work. Then I'll be back. Then I'll be back at 7. Y'all are just getting an overdose of me today, tomorrow, Friday, all the things. You're getting an overdose. I'm just letting you know. You're welcome. You're welcome. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get some things done. I came downstairs and ate the rest of my chips and salsa from this weekend. And I was mad because the chips and salsa don't automatically just replenish themselves. They should. Somebody needs to make a perpetually replenishing salsa. That would be fantastic. And I'm sure it would take a crazy amount of money. Can I have a Latin mother-in-law without having to get married? Can that be a thing? Are there any older Latin women out there that would like to have a blue-haired tattooed daughter? I'm just saying, can that be a thing? Can that be a thing? Please. I promise I will never forget your birthday or Mother's Day or holidays, and I'm a gifter. Gifting is my love language. And all you have to do is is food. I'll even buy all the ingredients. Can that be a thing? Can that be what I want for Christmas? Can that be what I want for Christmas? Just saying. I'm just saying. All right. So let's do this. I will totally take Panamanian. Absolutely. Actually, I don't know. What is Panamanian cuisine like? Is it different? Is it different? I need to research this. I'm just saying. What planet is making you sad today? Probably this full moon tomorrow. Ooh, it's different. I like the food. So, ooh. Now I'm going to be obsessed with that. You watch. Okay. I can't talk about food. I actually ate. My belly is full. What was that? That was a weird flash. Did you guys see that? That was weird. My nose is itchy. I like that I said my nose is itchy. Someone's talking about me, and somebody came in a while ago and was like, it's hay fever. Okay, whatever. What was for lunch? Chips and salsa. And dried strawberries. And a raspberry bonbon from a chocolatier place here in Tulsa. I am drinking water, though. All right. Abigail is my first one. Yeah, we'll ignore the sugar spike later. Actually, it's not super bad, but it's gonna be. My sugar's only at 136, and I didn't have a lot of chips left, so it's not like I ate a full. Yeah. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, Abigail. What does she need to know, or what should we be working on? Okay. Yeah, I had a really, really gnarly sugar crash yesterday. We got home from taking, it's 1:13. We got home from taking Brody and Allie to the airport in Oklahoma City. Abigail, thank you. We got home. We went to, there's a boba place in Oklahoma City that my kid found that has labubus, little jelly labubus, bobas that you can put in your boba tea. And so we went there, and then we stopped by Walmart, things like that. I get home, we get in the door, and I pull in the driveway, and all of a sudden I'm like, I don't feel good. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. What the fuck? So I'm thinking, all right, well, my sugar's high. Okay, my sugar's high because of whatever. No. So I started shaking. I'm like, fucking shit. So I come in here and sit down, and my fucking thing wasn't working. It said 71, and I'm like, I shouldn't shake like this if it's 71. Yeah, my sugar hit 54 yesterday. So that was fun. And for those of you guys that aren't diabetic, when your sugar crashes like that and you have to eat stuff to make it go back up, you always overcompensate. There is never a way to get it fine, like, oh, I'm going to eat this and it's going to be at 100. It doesn't happen. You always overcompensate and it goes straight up. That's not good, Samantha. All right. Let's not talk. We just need to book a time when we can all just chat. Like, we should do that. Abigail, what do you need to know, or what should you be working on? So your 2 anchor cards came out sideways. Let me put these down here so y'all can see. They came out sideways. So your first anchor card is the Maestro, which is understanding, community, and ingenuity. I find it interesting that this came out sideways because I have read for you and answered your questions and seen you a lot in my lives for several years now. So to know, sorry, my refrigerator is being loud as shit today. It needs attention apparently. To know that your understanding is still here. Does that make sense? It's still flat is really interesting to me. Then you have Blessed Day, Cut Ties, the Elixir of Life, and then your other sideways card is the Caretaker of the Lost. This is respite, assistance, memory, being the one that takes care of everybody that has problems. So what is it that you need to know? I think that you go heavily from someone who is very in tune and very in touch with their path, with their life, with their self, with their brain, with all of the things about them. They go really hardcore back and forth from this to this. And I think that's why these are sideways. I believe that's why these are sideways, not I think. These 3 things right here are 3 separate things. When it comes to understanding and when it comes to this side of yourself, this is one thing that I have learned a lot in my life, especially over the last 5 years. There is no way you can ever understand everything about yourself. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. There's no way. You can read all the books, you can learn all the things, you can go to therapy, you can do all the things, but there are always going to be things about yourself, emotionally, mentally, etc., that you are not going to understand why you just did what you did. Don't try to overthink those aspects of yourself. I hope that makes sense. This part, that you swing wildly the other way. You are always going to be part of the caretaker of the lost. You are always going to have broken people that cross your path. You are always going to have people that, I don't think that they come to you with the idea of taking advantage of you. They end up just taking advantage. I just happened to look up, sorry, I've got a lot of planty plants and cuttings and stuff like that. And I just happened to look up on top of my kitchen counter, and my ivy plant is going crazy up there. So I have to go get some cuttings off of her too, because she's going to overload herself. So anyway, you're always going to be that person that brings in other people, right? These 3 things are different things. So let's talk about this one first. And this is something that I say all the time, and then I stop saying it, and then I say it all the time. It's so funny. You have to choose to be happy. You have to choose to have a good day. You have to choose that it's going to be a fantastic day. A lot of people get in the mindset of everything is horrible and everything is going to be bad, and that's all it's ever going to be is bad. And you have to make that choice. You are making the choice that everything is bad, that everything is going to be bad, and then it will never, ever get better. And some people are not ready to not be in that mindset, and that's okay. That's okay. We all get there, myself included. But you can't stay there. waking up every morning and choosing to have a good day is hard, because the world bombards us with all of the bad shit right now, all of the terrible things in the news, and over here and over here and over here, and everything is horrible and people are horrible and blah blah blah. The news and social media bombard you with that. You have to choose to have a good day, because the way that the collective mindset of the universe works is that if more people lean toward this negative mindset, then that's how the world is going to be. If more people lean toward a positive mindset, that's how the world is going to be. And if you think about different times throughout history, you can see that this is a thing. During the 80s, when there was a lot of social revolution going on, people were very hopeful. Even if they didn't agree with the politicians, they were very, very hopeful that the world was going in the right place, right? And so the 80s and the 90s, the 80s especially, were a time of like exponential growth. And everybody was hopeful. Then after like 9/11, everybody was scared and the collective energy went like this. Like, you can look back and forth at different times in history and see this. So you have to choose to have a good day. You have to choose that today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a blessed day. It's going to be great. And even when shitty shit happens during that good day, you have to tell yourself, you know what? This is just a little setback. Just a little setback. And if you need to tell yourself that rejection is protection, do so. But, you know, or if this just wasn't meant for you, seriously, you have to make yourself shift back. Does that make sense? Let's talk about cutting ties. Cutting ties isn't just about people. Most of the time it is. Most of the time it is. But it's not just about people. Cutting ties, especially with us as humans, tends to be more about, there it is, habits, abilities, mindsets, etc. And so it's 160, calm down, it's all right. So we get in these mindsets that develop habits that put us in a funk, that look like depression, that look like something like that. And it's not full on depression. It's more just a funk. You've heard people say, oh, I'm in a funk right now. That's why. But if you continually have this mindset that drags you through the dirt, you have got to learn to cut ties with that. It would be just like cutting off a toxic person in your life. If you have somebody that's continuously telling you what a piece of shit you are, you know that's a toxic person. So you're going to cut them off. But you can't really cut your own mind. You can't block your own mind, right? So you have to start cutting ties with that mindset. You have to start cutting ties. So every time your brain tells you that you're not good enough or that you're a piece of shit or whatever, you have to start like snipping away at the little threads that are holding that in there, if that makes sense. It's hard and it takes a lot of inner discipline, and some people will never be ready to do that. And that is what it is. You can't force somebody to do this. But by knowing that you do it and knowing that you need to learn to start snipping out the little cords that keep that really negative, shitty ass mindset, that will help you move forward. It will help you cut ties with that. The elixir of life is interesting that this came up with what do you need to know, because we all see these movies. Brody and Allie were just watching the Pirates of the Caribbean this weekend, where they're searching for the fountain of youth and all of that stuff. We all watch these movies about, looking for the elixir of life. But the thing is, every single one of us has a different elixir of life. Period. We do. Every single one of us has something that drives us forward. Every single one of us has something that we love, that we care about, that we're passionate about. Sometimes it aligns with other people's elixirs of life, and sometimes it doesn't. What I'm passionate about may not be what you're passionate about. What you're passionate about may not be what Susan over there is passionate about, and all the everything. You know what I'm saying? Figuring out what your elixir of life is not mandatory either. It's not mandatory. We would like to know, oh, well, my passion is this, but your passions can change. Your elixir of life can change. I think a lot of what this is saying, Abigail, is not to focus so hardcore on insisting that this be this way, or this be this way, or this be this way. Not having to put a label on every little thing. Not having to say, oh, well, it's this, it's this, it's this. Your passion can change. Your elixir of life can change. Everything can change. And that's fine, because it's supposed to change. So when things are changing and shifting, don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. It's part of it. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. I didn't know if you were here or not. Sometimes just existing is enough. I just want you guys to know that. Sometimes just existing is enough. Especially if you are not in a phase or a mindset where you can cut ties yet. Sometimes just existing is enough. Got black junk all over my knuckles. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I think that you're doing fantastic. I think that you're trying. I think that you're doing what you're supposed to do for yourself. And I think that you're doing everything you can to move forward for you. And sometimes if that is just existing and getting up in the morning and breathing and eating and going to work and coming home, sometimes if it's just that, then that's a win. Sometimes that the bare minimum is all we can handle in a certain day. Okay? I'm just saying. Brett is next. What can you expect for the next year? Okay. Oh, there's the Brett. You are so welcome, Abigail, honey. All right. Gotta have all the cards. Of course you do. So, where you are right now. This is Charon, the ferryman. So this is necessity and need and focus. And then change. That's funny. Transition, change. That's funny. So that's where you are right now. And I also love that this is the flower of life. I don't know what has got you feeling the need to shift and change. But like I just told Abigail, there's a lot of aspects of our life that are meant to change constantly. Sometimes it's a lot of aspects of our life that are meant to change constantly. Sometimes it's feeling. And you don't quite know what it is that has to change. And you don't quite know where you're supposed to start or what you're supposed to do. You just know that you need to change, that you need to shift, that you need to transition, that you need to move. And you don't know the first step. So, this is kind of, let's just turn these over. You have Hathor, which is meditation, communication, and culture. She's a party deity, just letting you know. Not saying that that's how your year is going to go, but then you have the Leper King, which is bravery, self-discipline, and faith. I find that interesting that those two are there. Oh, and karmic justice. That's interesting. The reason that that's really, really interesting to me is all three of these cards form the basis for a very cool triangle. On one corner, you have culture, you have communication, you have meditation, you have a very spiritual connection to the world and to life in general. Then on another corner, you have bravery and self-discipline and faith and the warrior mentality of taking care of other people, of moving forward, of being the leader, like being the silent, awesome leader that everybody looks up to. And then on the other corner, you have the baneful aspect of justice, of karma, of things like that. So I find this interesting, especially talking about the change and the transition. I have a feeling that this next year, and I haven't turned these cards over yet, I have a feeling that this next year is going to be I'm trying to figure out the right wordy words to say. Well, let me say it this way. I did not feel like an actual adult until I was in my 40s. As weird as that sounds. I had my own house, owned houses, had rent houses, had kids, had family, had like all this stuff, but I did not feel like an actual grown-up adult until my mid-40s. That kind of focus, that kind of change, that kind of shift. I think that this whole next year with these three cards is going to be about balance. It's going to be about really finding your magical spiritual path and the things that really resonate and touch you deeply. It's going to be about finding your, I don't want to say king mentality, because that's not this. It is a very intense, deep warrior mentality without being combative. And then the karmic justice aspect. Because I know like what you do for a living, and I know the kind of people that you work with, and you try to do as best as you can for those people. That's a lot of karma that you're putting out into the universe on a good path, which tells me that there was a lot of karma, a lot of injustices that were done to put you on that path. You've seen them, you've witnessed them, you've felt them. So by knowing that you have those things karmically tied to you in a good way, that's a very, very powerful point on a triangle. I have a feeling that, and I can't wait to turn these over, I have a feeling that by this time next year, the Brett you are now is not going to be anything like the Brett you are then. And this is not just, oh, I grew up a little, it's not like that. This is a very intense, massive change and shift, just so you know. I can't wait to turn these over. So you have the elixir of life. Under the elixir of life, you had blessed day, because of course you did. Because of course you did. And the best card in the deck, the Golden Empress card. The best card in the deck, the Golden Empress card. So I would say that whatever it is you are manifesting, whatever it is you're working towards, and you may not even know what it is you're working towards. I have like all the goosebumps. Whatever it is that you are about to shift into is going to be something that is going to put you on a trajectory to be magnetic, to be in full confidence of who you are and where you're going. I think that this is going to be an utterly fantastic year for you. What I do love is, even though it's changed in necessity and focus and stuff like that here at the beginning, this part right here doesn't look like turmoil. I wanted to make that clear, because sometimes when we go through a transition or a change or whatever, We worry that there's going to be turmoil, and a lot of times there is turmoil, but I don't see a lot of turmoil. I see balance. So I don't see a lot of turmoil. I don't see a lot of people that are in your life right now exiting your life. I don't see changes in like jobs. I mean, not saying that there couldn't be, but I don't see turmoil, which I love as well. There's not turmoil in these changes. So those times when you do have changes, massive changes, they're going to be good changes, like for the better, to move you forward. So I would say that this next year is going to be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. So let's separate these cards out. This deck likes to pull the same cards sometimes. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see here. Big C. She was here a while ago. I don't know if she's still here. Honestly, whatever the cards want to tell me, you got it. Is my list already sold out for tonight, Christine? Okay. There you are. What you been up to? What you been up to, girl? Okay, you gotta have all the cards too. That's interesting. We go boop, boop, boop. So you have Thanatos, which is completion, support, and expediency. And then protection. I have a feeling these are three different things. So let's see. Because then you have the Morrigan, which is the Weaver of Fate, which is introspection, opposition, intuition, and knowledge. Okay. And then over here, we have Osiris, which is commitment, acquisition, and responsibility. We have Hathor, which is culture, communication, meditation, spirituality. And then you have concealment. Confidence, excuse me. Woo, I was like, concealment. Confidence. Okay. Okay. So these are three separate things, but they all tie in together. The reason that I say they tie in together is this. I want you just to look at the overall shapes in this. Notice the eyes, notice the circles, notice the diamond shapes, right? That's the first one. Notice how it kind of transitions into this. Notice the eye, notice the diamond shapes, right? And then this one and this one are together. Notice the book opening, like the diamond opening. Notice the flowers and the flowers, right? And then I want you to notice the flower shapes in the back. Notice the wings. Notice the circle to the circle. You see what I mean? Like it's a transition, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. So first, I believe that this is a situation. I don't believe this is a person. There is a situation in your life right now that you know has to be finished. It has to be done. It has to be cut off. I don't know if this involves like multiple people, or I don't feel like this is a work situation either. So I don't know if this is friends. I don't know if this is personal. I don't know what this is. But this is a situation that it has run its course and it has become toxic. And every time you get around this situation, these people, etc., like in your gut, you just feel like you're getting pulled back down into bad habits, into issues, into whatever it is, like negative mental health space, whatever it is, like you just feel yourself getting pulled down. you're going to have to, for your own protection, cut this situation off. And I have a feeling that this involves at least three other people. So this is something that you're going to have to cut off, and it's going to suck. It's going to suck because you're not going to want to cut this off. You're going to want to keep those friends and so on. But what I'm going to say is not everybody is meant to go on your path with you the entire time. Some people are only meant to be there for a little bit. Some people are meant to be there for a couple years. Some people are meant to be there for 50 years. And some people are meant to be there for an hour. So this situation with these friends has run its course, and it has become toxic, and it is going to have to be cut off. That leads into this. This is the more again, this is opposition and introspection and intuition and knowledge. And this is where you want to go. This is where you want to go. So by cutting this situation and these people off, it allows you to get to here, which is you really starting to build your knowledge base back up. Introspection is interesting because it starts with a lot of shadow work. It starts with a lot of intuition. It starts with a lot of looking inside yourself. And when you cut off a situation like this, that is the time that you find yourself really hardcore thinking about, why did I let myself get involved with those people or that job or that situation or whatever? Why did I allow things to go as far as they did? Like why, you know what I mean? You start asking yourself the why questions of why did I allow this or why did I allow that? By doing that kind of shadow work, that is when all of these things start to come in and pop up where you find that your own knowledge far exceeds what you thought it was. And when you're going through a phase where you're learning about life, you're learning about yourself, you're learning about how to make your intuition work for you instead of against you, you start to realize that you know more than you thought you did. That you know more than you thought you did. Oh, I'm sorry, Chrissy. A lot of people seem to be in a really ugly place today. So just sit and hang out for a little bit. You never know. There might be something that comes out of my face hole that you needed to hear today. But we're not going to talk about politics or the world or anything like that. I promise I won't talk about food and make everybody hungry. I can't promise that. But I promise not to do it for 5 minutes, okay? I promise not to do it for 5 minutes. So just come and sit and hang out. But Binksy, why did I say Bitsy? Binksy, by looking at your knowledge, the things that you have learned up to this point in your life, it's going to do two things. One, it gives you a huge confidence boost because you're like, holy shit, I know way more than I thought I did. And then two, you start to get this hunger for what you don't know. When we don't realize how much information we've retained at this point in our life, at any point in our life, then we start to look at all the stuff we don't know as too much. Like, oh my God, I'll never learn all of this or all of that. But when you start to realize, holy shit, I've learned this and I've learned this and I've learned this and blah, 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 blah. Before you went down, TikTok said one of your food comments was against community. Oh my God. Let's not talk about PB&J. I'll probably get flagged for that. It's probably code for some other shit. Anyway. But, you get into a different mindset where instead of being stressed out that you don't know these things, you realize that you are excited to learn these things. And I think that that's a place you haven't been in a while, being excited to learn. You've just felt all of this stress about, how much you don't know. And I just want you guys to know, don't stress about what you don't know. Look at it as something exciting. Because when you look at what you don't know and what you want to learn as something exciting, like we get tired of going to school. We do. But think about it. When you were a kid and, you know, you were going into elementary school, like kindergarten, first, second, third grade, you know, and you got a new backpack and pencils and you were super excited. Like, that is the excitement that you guys need to have when it comes to knowledge. Okay? You're an adult now and you can choose to learn what you want to learn. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And that is going to move you into this, which is being able to take on more responsibility for yourself, like a bigger job, promotions, moving. I don't mean like you take on more shit, but like take on more responsibility for yourself and your path and so on. That also leads you into being able to acquire more, which also, and by acquire, I mean that in every sense of the word acquire, whether it is jobs, bills, goodies, items, cars, houses, whatever, or just acquiring plants. Just acquiring plants or dolls. Or whatever you want to acquire. Do you see what I'm saying? Plants make me happy. I like my plants more than people. Not all people, but you know what I'm saying. Most people. I like plants. I digress. But that is going to bring you into a new level of your own divine spiritual self. Your own divine spiritual self is something that people seek out so much and they rarely seem to find it without becoming a conceited ass, because that is only undoing the divine self that you find. That all comes along with a healthy dose of confidence. And I feel like this situation that we talked about to begin with has eroded your confidence a lot in yourself, in where you're going and why you want to go there and all of that. So it's almost like this whole thing comes back full circle. My only word of warning is when it starts to come back full circle and you see that you now have this confidence that's back that was eroded with this other group situation, etc. It doesn't mean to let that toxic situation back into your life. Okay? Does that make sense? There's a lot. It's a lot. And I love that everything flows together. Everything flows together. Y'all don't realize that. Everything flows together. Everything ebbs and flows. All right, let's see here. See, Sammie was on my list. All right. So I have Sammie down for an energy reading. Sammie M. You are so welcome, Binksy. How have you been? You been okay? You been good? Sammie, you're like all these pastel colors, like a bag of buttermints. You're like a mint green and a turquoise and a yellow. And so before I start going into those different, like you're literally all of these colors and they kind of swirl around like this. First of all, you can be tough with people that need it. Those pastel, when I see pastel colors, when every color I see in energy is pastel, it tells me that you are giving in to too many people. You are allowing too many people to really become overwhelming. You're allowing yourself to be pulled in too many different ways. You're allowing too much of yourself to be given away. And this doesn't happen overnight. This is something that you have been programmed to do over a long period of time. So don't think that just because now you know it's happening, everything's going to change overnight. You have to start undoing those things one by one. The other thing I'm going to say about this when I see all the pastel colors is, girl, get some claws. Get some claws. Sammie, get some claws. you can only be nice to people that are being shitty to you for so long. I want you guys to listen to that again. You can only be nice to shitty people for so long. If there's somebody that has been treating you like shit for a long time, months, years, etc., that is driving me nuts. That I have this new, how do I have a forehead dimple? How do I have a forehead dimple? I have a forehead dimple. But when you have somebody that is so shitty to you for so long, you don't have to continue being nice to them. You don't. You don't have to engage with them at all. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to answer them. You don't have to anything. You don't have to anything. They don't need your time, your money, or your energy, period. If they're going to be shitty, then they do not get access to you anymore. The fact that you have turquoise and green that showed up first, that is a lot of healing that has to be done. So what I'm going to recommend is this. Take some time and step back from everybody right now in your life. I mean, obviously, you can't step back from kids all the time or a spouse or things like that. But take some time and step back from the world and really look at you. Really look at Sammie. Because if I were to sit down and I would say, what is it that Sammie wants right now? I'm sure that you could rattle off a whole bunch of different things. You know, we're always going to say like world peace and $10 million in my bank account and like things like that, right? But do you really know what Sammie wants? Do you really know what you want? If somebody were to ask me what I really wanted right now, you could have anything in the world. We all joke and laugh. Like there's an episode of Adventure Time where they find Prismo's space and they all get one wish. Jake wishes for a sandwich. I get that. Because there are some times in your life that maybe what you really want in that moment is a sandwich. Maybe what you really want in that moment is a sandwich. Maybe it's not so much that you want $10 million in your bank account or that you want everybody in your house to get along. Maybe you just really want a sandwich. And we laugh about that, but I understand that at this point in my life. Does that make sense? So step back and ask what Sammie really wants, because that's a lot of healing. That's a lot of people taking advantage of you. And that's a lot of time that you need to really step back and take stock of what's going on, of what you have, of where you're going, and so on. We all need to do that from time to time, but we usually say, oh, well, I'll do it later, until something really, really big happens. Does that make sense? Something really, really big happens. So, Sammie, I'm going to advise you to take a step back and just look at everything, because those pastel colors tell me that people are walking all over you, and it makes me get like instantly defensive over you. So, I'm just saying. I love pastel colors. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah. All right. JoAnn Berg is my next one. I'm going to get my energy reads out of the way because I'm going to have to go here in a minute, take my kiddo to work. And then I'll be back on and you get stuck with me all day. What's up, Bergie? All right. Ooh, you are like candy corn. You're like white and then this gorgeous orange and then yellow though. Like you're backwards. I don't know. You're candy corn. You're candy corn. Now I want candy corn. We won't talk about food though. Not right now. I don't know what it is that you're in the middle of starting. Because, I mean, it's literally this crazy big funnel shape. And it starts with this little ball of white down here. Dude, you just had like a brilliant idea. I don't know if this is like a side hustle, or if this is to start a new business or a job. I don't know what this is, but all of those nights that you haven't been able to sleep lately, all of those things that have been popping into your brain, all of those ideas, you need to make sure that you're writing them down. Because when I see the white and then the orange is thinking outside the box. Orange is intelligence. Orange and yellow go hand in hand. Orange is like those people that are never going to fit in the box. Orange, especially in an energetic setting, is drive, it's focus, it's passion, especially for business. And then yellow is communication, it's happiness, it also is intelligence. But those two hand in hand together with the white. This is a great time right now for you to start a business. This is a great time for you to start a side hustle or whatever it is. But dude, that idea that you had is brilliant. I want to touch back on the white again, because white is a connection to the divine. White's also purification, and it's learning and knowledge and so on. But I want to talk about this connection to the divine, because when I see white, especially with these other colors like this, I'm like, okay, that is an amazing idea that's cooking up in her brain and her life, and things starting to take off, which I know you needed to hear as well, that yes, things are going to start taking off in a really straight up rocket type manner. But don't forget that the divine includes you. You're 3 years into a new business, trying to start a podcast. And oh, I love that. Don't forget that you are a divine spark as well. Yes, gods and goddesses are divine. Yes, animals and plants are divine. Yes, the earth is divine. Yes, the universe is divine, things like that. But don't forget that you are a divine spark as well. And you have to take care of you like the divine spark. I love that you are 3 years into this. I love it. Don't be afraid to branch out. Don't be afraid to take this idea that you have and just go balls to the wall with it, for lack of a better term. Why do I feel like this is, and I don't want you to answer, I just want to say this part, because I don't want you to answer, because we all know that bitches be bitches and they steal things. Why do I feel like this is a rebrand? Why do I feel like this is artwork? Why do I feel like this is logos? This is a colorful update. Like this is like a rebrand with everything. Take a step back and look at what you've accomplished over the last 3 years. I'll bet you've accomplished way more than you give yourself credit for. I know that even though I accomplish shit, I'm always like, yeah, well, it's not good enough. It's because I'm a fucking Capricorn and my Capricorn brain is an asshole. But take a step back and look at all of the things that you've accomplished. Okay? That's going to be my advice. Because those are some bright, vibrant, awesome colors. And not colors of somebody that likes to sit still. At all, in any way, shape, or form. My phone keeps giving me like reminders. I'm like, do I really need all these reminders? No, I don't. I really probably do, but all right, let's see here. Trying to make sure I've got all of the energy reads done. So where we can start on more card reads. Nope, it's Tammi G. Tammi G. Good, I'm glad that's what you needed to hear. Oh, my nose itches. What's up, Lisa? Thank you, hey, I appreciate that. I picked the popcorn and the little guy on the shoulder today. I thought that was fun. What's up, Tams? All right. Ooh, you're like fighting with yourself right now. And the very first, like the big part of the energy that hit me is like purple and green, deep, deep, deep royal purple, and just bright green, like what you think of. Well, no, I guess it's a little more of like foresty emerald green. It's a little darker green. But then over here you have red and white. So, but the red and white's like this. It's like red and then white on the bottom. But over here is like the big dark colors. So it's like you're kind of fighting with yourself a little bit right now. Actually, I think that it's the universe trying to pull you out of whatever it is. Okay. The green and the purple, let's talk about that, because those two work very well together. I need to talk about the structure of these, because the red is the exact same as the white. Like they're perfectly shaped, just like one copied the other. Does that make sense? They're the exact same shape, size, etc. Over here, same thing, but the line is like this. So purple up here and green line here, but it's in a brick. You know what I mean? Don't try to over analyze things and try to make everything fit in these specific parameters. I know we were all taught to color inside the lines, and some of us didn't color inside the lines. We were always taught to color inside the lines and so on. Let some of this out a little bit. And I know me saying that makes you really, really uncomfortable because I can feel it. But let some of that out. Take the lines away. Let the green and the purple fade together a little bit. Let the pink and the white fade together, or the red and the white fade together a little bit, and make some pretty pink. But the green and the purple over here, this is your own, let's talk about the purple, your own sovereignty, your own spirituality, your practice, yourself, your physical being. This is all about you. And I think that it's so funny because the lighter the purple, the more in touch you are with nostalgia. But the fact that this is a really, really dark purple tells me that you have completely cut ties with a lot of things in the past. Like, I'm not thinking about them. I'm not talking about, like, none of it. You don't want to deal with it, talk about it. And I'm proud of you for that. But keep in mind that the past made you who you are. And then this green underneath it, this is a very, very analytical structure. This is overthinking everything. And I think that has served you really well in life. And that's why you have your energy very structured, very, like, this goes here and this goes here. I would not be surprised if you're one of those people that make lists to make lists, that you love math, that you love everything in its place. Like, everything has to be structured. So this overly analytical. And I think that is why when I said let these colors out a little bit, that made you uncomfortable. But the other part of this that I want to say, the green and the purple work together very, very well, because you have boundaries, your spiritual self, your sovereign self, and then you have this analytical healing nature down here. It's also a very prosperous color. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Thank you, Tammi. I'm just saying what I'm saying. But what I find really, really interesting about these two together, and then having the red and the white over here, little bitty ones, the red is like, now I'm not saying you have a temper, so please don't think that, but this is like something ready to explode over here. Either you have been putting something aside for too long, or it's like being fed up with something. You know enough about something going on, and you're about ready to blow. Like, you've learned the truth about a situation or a person or whatever, and you're about ready to blow. And that's why I said to let those colors kind of fade together a little bit, because there is a happy medium, whether it's just cutting this person off and not speaking to them again, or whether it's, whatever. I don't want to say blow up, because I feel like that's what this is leading to. So just make sure that make sure that you're taking your time with it. Does that make sense? Let these fade together. You're very analytical, and you're very intelligent, and you're very spaced out with, and I don't mean it like, woo, you're very spaced out with how you respond to things. Like, you have a specific way you respond to things. do something completely out of character. Do something completely different. But don't let this sit and fester. You know, does that make sense? I hope you know I hope that makes sense. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Don't let this just sit and fester. I feel like it's interesting that I'm doing these reads now, because I think that, okay, good. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. I think that if I would have done this on the, like last week when I was supposed to be doing these, I don't think that this would have been the same. Am I right? Like over this last weekend and such, it's really blown up. Yes? Like you've really, I think this would have been a completely different energy read. Yeah. I love Christina. I needed to hear that shit too. Good. Good. Well, I'm glad that that made sense. So. You are welcome. Oh, I love that, Juju. I can't wait for you to come be a part of it as well. That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. All right, now we're going to start with some card reads. Amy H is first. Will you ever find out the truth about that? I would love to have some H.H. Holmes dirt. I don't know. Cemeteries are interesting though, so I don't know. Like, and now that I own one, I don't ever go and just take shit from cemeteries. Like, I ask permission first. I make sure that I have left an offering and so on. And so I get it. I get it. As much as I would like to have some, if it happens, it happens, you know? I will try to make sure I get some, but I'm just saying. All right, Amy, will you ever find out the truth about this? And will you make peace with it? Okay. I love this. The very first card I pull is the Maestro card, and it is understanding, commitment, and responsibility. Ingenuity, excuse me. Magical power. Over here, you have the Keeper of Whispers, which is curiosity, madness, and forbidden knowledge. You have cut ties. And then underneath that, you have learn the truth. This first part, I have all of the goosebumps on my arms. This first part. Will you make peace with this situation? Yes. I think that you are starting to now, whether you realize it or not. That's what we're going to talk about first. The understanding, the community, the ingenuity, the magical power. You're already starting to make peace with it, as shitty as the situation is. I understand losing someone. I think everybody understands losing someone. And even in the moment right after that happens, you're so raw with emotion and you're so raw with everything, but you are starting to heal immediately. And some people are like, that doesn't sound very nice. But think about it. Why do we cry? Why do we get sad when something bad happens? Because that is part of the healing process. Why do we get angry when something happens? Because that is part of the healing process. The minute that something happens, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, you already start processing it in that moment. And there are going to be some times that you wake up and you forget that that was a thing and you have to relive that. There are going to be times when you feel great, and there are going to be times when you are broke down crying. I have lost friends to cancer. I have lost my mom to an aneurysm. I lost, my grandpa to Alzheimer's. I have lost friends to some very horrific things. I've lost friends to car accidents. I've lost friends and family in a lot of different ways. And every one of them hits you differently during that moment. Every single passing hits you differently during that moment. And we overthink a lot. Was it peaceful? Was it hard? Was it this? Was it that? We overthink a lot. But from someone that has died and has seen the other side, let me say this. For those of you guys that are worried about, did they feel anything? Did this, did this, did this? In the moment when you're actively passing, you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything. In fact, it's kind of a sense of wonder and a kind of a sense of like, okay. I know that's really hard to explain. Does it mean that you're not going to get angry about it afterwards in the afterlife because you feel like, you shouldn't have been, you shouldn't have been taken right then? No, because you still could get angry. But in the moment when that happens, you don't feel anything. And just like us over here that are still here, alive and kicking, over there, you have to process as well what happened and being without your people and your stuff, right? So will you make peace with this? Yes, I think you are already doing that. It doesn't mean there won't still be grief there, because my mom's been gone 11 years this year. And there's a lot of times that I tear up because I want to just call her and tell her, oh my God, Mom, this happened, or, Brody accomplished this, or Kirsten accomplished this. Like, Kirsten finished her first year of college. Brody's having a baby. Like, I want to call my mom and tell her that, and I can't. So there are still going to be times when you get choked up over the little tiniest things. And that's okay. It's okay. This other part, let's talk about this. Will you ever find out the truth about this situation? Yes. Learn the truth is undercut ties. And that was with the keeper of whispers, which is forbidden knowledge and madness and curiosity. And so what this tells me is you kind of already have a suspicion. You kind of already know. Which tells me that this wasn't something very easy for anybody in this situation. So, yes is the short answer of it. When you do, and when you start to learn the truth about the situation, it's going to be hard and it's going to be upsetting, and there's going to be a massive amount of anger. A massive amount of anger. Just be prepared. Just be prepared. And it is going to cause you to cut ties with some people that knew and didn't want to tell you, either to save your feelings or whatever. Which I understand that from a friend point of view, a family point of view, like wanting to help somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. So the short answer is yes. The long answer is, well, the medium answer is you kind of already know. But even though this is kind of a more heavy answers, because it's a heavy questions, I want you to keep in mind what I said about constantly healing. There's a reason that we talk about the stages of grief, and there's a reason that we talk about, that it's not just steps. You go to this step and then this step, and that you go back and forth and in and out. Keep that in mind. Like, there are still times 11 years later that I get really, really angry that my mom's doctor didn't catch this. You know what I mean? Like, there are still times. I lost my best friend in my senior year of high school to cancer and she had undergone many surgeries and things like that, I still get mad about that. So just know that that anger is still going to be there. And there are going to be people that tell you that you shouldn't have that anger. It's been too long or whatever. You're allowed to feel that anger. You're allowed to feel that sadness. You're allowed to grieve. Just don't stay in one of those things too long. Okay? Validate the feeling. Acknowledge the feeling. Talk about the feeling. It's hurt. It's sadness. It's loss. It's, denial. It's anger. But don't live there. Okay? Don't live there. Hope that made sense, Amy. I am going to do one more, and then I've got to take my kid to work. So, and then let's see. Here's who I still have on my list from the other day. Carla, Christine M is going to be my next one. Joy, Miss Kathy Mazzell, Rebecca, Tiffany, and Valerie. So I'll do you guys after I take my kid to work and get back. But Christine M is my last one for this live. Should you keep on with your relationship? I am, Effie. I have not had time to sit down and do that. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, 100%. There are a lot of them on YouTube. There are a lot of them. I just need to get them over there. All right. So I've got you on this side and your person over here on this side. So this is for you. And this is for your person. Whoa, okay. That's a lot. That's a lot. And 2 cards in the middle. It's a very dualistic relationship. 2 in the middle. It's a very dualistic relationship. All right, here's where you are. Girl, you are the Golden Empress. My favorite card in the whole deck. This is magnetism and potency and confidence. And then, good luck. What the hell? What the hell, Christine? And safe travel. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, before I ever turn these cards over, A, you are in a place where the universe is smiling on you constantly. And B, if you don't feel like this is the right relationship, then you don't need to be in it. You are in a place where the universe is constantly bringing good shit into your life. Everything you ask the universe for is going to come your way because of that fucking card right there. That's the magnetism card. Before I turn any of this over, if you don't feel like you need to be in this relationship, if you have any kind of doubts at all, I'm just saying what I'm saying. Thanks, Phoenix. This is where they are. Anubis, preservation, neutrality, and obligation. Overcoming fear. And cut ties. And these two are your relationship. My advice, my short answer to your question is going to be no. It's going to be no. Because I'm not going to look at these yet. I just turned over your cards, and your cards are, the universe is fucking smiling on you. It's ready to give you everything you ask for. And over here, they have overcoming fear, cutting ties, like all of these things. They're just trying to preserve the relationship so they have a relationship. But know that this cut ties aspect, I don't think that they're going to stick around much longer. And when the universe is ready to bring you all of the amazing shit that you've been asking for, it is going to remove people out of your life. So we have divine guidance on the top and blessed day in the middle, or blessed day underneath. I think you already knew the answer to this question. I think you already knew the answer to this question, and this was just confirmation. Girl, run. I mean, I don't think that this person is I don't think that they're a bad person. Let me say that. I don't think that they're a bad person. I don't see anything like they're cheating, they're doing any of that shit. I don't think that. But here's the thing. The doubt that's over here and the power that's on your side, that's not gonna end well. It's just not. And so I think that ending as friends, that ending it, and letting them go their own way, and letting that fear go, because they have this weird fear in there right now. Go and enjoy everything that the universe has in store for you. Seriously, go enjoy everything that the universe has in store for you. Should you continue with your relationship? No. No. Both of you have other things the universe is trying to take you to do. So, there's the short answer to that, Christine. There's the short answer to that, Christine. So, I'm going to get off of here, start getting these downloaded. And then when I come back this afternoon, I have 5 more of y'all to do, and then this list will be done, and we'll start on the other list from the 3rd, and then yeah. So all right, guys, I'll see y'all back here in about an hour and a half. Yeah. So this is the second intermission of the day.